Let's get started here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2026 University of Arizona Global Campus Culture of Care Summit.
We are really, truly honored to have you join us for this important gathering. It's a space where purpose, connection, and commitment come together to strengthen the way we all support one another, our students, and also organizations who are seeking change.
Yes, and today is more about it's about more than conversation. It's about reflection. It's about growth, action. It's about how we intentionally, keyword intentionally, build environments where care is not just expressed, but it's embedded in everything that we do. And I'd like to welcome, please join me in us in welcoming Dr. Blake Naughton, Vice Provost of the Global Campus Academic Affairs, Dr. Caleb Simmons, Executive Director of Online Initiatives, Katie Scheie, our Vice Provost of UAGC Student Success, and finally, Dr. Tony Farrell, our Dean of the College of Professional Advancement, and he's the Chair of the Culture of Care Committee. So with that said, Dr. Naughton, let's begin with you. And can you share some of your thoughts, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me start by saying thank you to you two, Michelle and Bill, the wonderful co-chairs getting this going, and also give space to, hey, we had a technical glitch out the gate. And caring is coming together as a team and saying, that's all right. We're going to roll with it. No big stress. So I hope that doesn't let you feel like anything's a misstep in going into this few days where we really reflect on our practice and think about how we can care for each other as a group. My brief charge and sort of invitation, I guess, for everyone who's listening and everyone who's going to participate in the next few days is to focus on language. I was reflecting on our theme of self and systems and society, and I was like, what connects all that? What connects all that? And I couldn't come up with anything other than thinking words and language. And particularly as those of us that work in online institutions, the only way we really show caring is through communication, right? We're not giving each other the real hug. We're not sitting shoulder to shoulder by someone who needs a moment. We're using language for care, whether that's supporting a student through a dip in their academic progress or supporting a colleague who's stressed over a project, whatever that is. We have to find language. So my invitation over the next couple of days is to think about what language powers your own talk track to yourself. What language powers the way that we describe and enable the systems that support care, and how we take that language out into the communities that we serve more broadly, and how we can do that. So I'm excited just because I think there's too much professor in me. I need a little homework. Like, okay, what am I doing the next couple of days besides listening to smart people say cool stuff? And to me, I want to have a takeaway, and that's the takeaway that I'm going to seek over the next couple of days. So let me again just thank Michelle and Bill for co-chairing this and putting their heart and souls into an experience that we'll all get a lot from. And Tony, thank you and the committee for chairing and getting it all going. So thanks. I'm excited for the next few days.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Naughton. And I'd like to say, I like how you described our little technical glitch here. And I like the words that you've instilled in me as collaborate, co-create, navigate, find those pathways to success. We are doing that with Stephanie. So thank you very much. And now I'd like to go to Dr. Caleb Simmons.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Stephanie, for hosting this session. And I think Blake hit the nail on the head with his comments. And I maybe wanted to even take another step and zoom back a little bit more when we think of a culture of care, because care is really such a mindset and moving to an orientation of how you do your work. But I think at the mindset level, I think we can all agree that care is a good thing. But until we operationalize and execute that in our day-to-day activities, it's really not a culture of care. It can become some lip service. So what I would encourage you to do is really think deeply about how you can take the ideas and the emotions behind care, and you can operationalize them in your day-to-day work, in your day-to-day interactions, keeping in mind that care isn't just always being saying everything is great. In fact, that's the opposite of care. Care is the difficult conversations at the right time, working toward making everyone's experience better, from our coworkers, our leaders, our direct reports, and most importantly for our students, because true care is continuous improvement in that experience. So I encourage you as you engage with all these wonderful sessions and all those speakers, really turn that mirror toward ourselves and think about whether or not this directly impacts my work and my duties. How can I take that mindset and operationalize them for myself? So thank you.
Dr. Kate,
Thanks
Dr.
again,
Kate,
everybody.
yeah, thank you so much. And you do lead with care. All of our leadership leads with care. They're accessible. They're there for us. I thank you, and that was a great introduction. I'm going to take away that mindset piece and be aware of that consistently. So thank you. Let's go to Katie Scheie.
Yeah, hi. Good morning and afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to kick off the Culture of Care Summit with all of you today, and thank you for joining. When I was reflecting and thinking about what I wanted to say today, one of the things that came to mind is that we're all living and working in a time where there's a lot that feels uncertain, both in our professional lives and in our personal lives. There's so much we can't control, but the one thing that we can control every single day is how we treat people, how we show up for our teams, how we engage with our colleagues, and how we support students in the communities that we serve. And I think that's what Culture of Care is all about. It's not just a framework or a set of pillars or words. It's a choice we make every day and how we communicate, advocate, respect, and empower others. I had a moment that really brought this to home for me last week. I was at my daughter Shanna's parent-teacher conference, and one of her teachers shared how proud she is of Shanna's growth this year. She's in 8th grade and preparing for high school. And I'll be honest, Shanna has to work really, really hard in school. Nothing comes easy, and her teachers see that effort. But what stood out most to them wasn't her progress academically. It was who she is. They talked about her kindness, how she looks at her classmates, how she looks out for them, how she leads in quiet but meaningful moments, and how she cares about what's happening around her, and how she's always willing to provide a helping hand. And her teacher kind of bent down and looked at her and looked at Shanna in the eyes and said, those are the things that are going to take you far in life. That she knows Shanna will do amazing things. That moment brought tears in my eyes, because the truth is, knowledge is more accessible than it ever has been. With AI and technology, information is everywhere all the time, all at once. But how we treat people, how we make others feel, that's what defines us. That's our legacy, and that truly is the power of care. So, as we spend the next few days together, I hope you'll take full advantage of this time. It's hard to make this time, right? 3 days, kids are on spring break, breaks are coming up, vacations, but I really hope you take this time to learn, to grow, to challenge yourself, and to connect. And most importantly, to recommit to showing up with care for each other, for our teams, and for the students we serve. Thank you, Michelle and Bill, for having me here. And thank you out there to all the presenters that are on today already listening to this kickoff, the panelists, support tech teams behind the scenes, and thank you all for being here. I'm excited to get this started.
Katie, thank you so much. That was very heartfelt, and what a fantastic example. You touched my heart with that. Thank you. Dr. Tony Farrell. Dr. Tony Farrell's inspired me. He's empowered us. He encourages us to empower students, the team. He's just doing a fantastic job. So, Dr. Farrell, you're on, buddy.
Thanks, Bill. And, certainly I have a prepared statement and a welcome, but I just also want to say that, Katie, that was really great. And thinking about your kids and the legacy and what care is, that's really impactful. And I really do hope that we really personalize this over the next 3 days to think about those examples. And, and again, I want to say thank you to Michelle and Bill and the whole Culture of Care Summit team, because Michelle and I, we chat all the time about the differences between year 1 and year 2 and all the work that went into this. And I hope that as you bounce around from sessions and think about the messages that you're going to receive over the next couple of days, that you really understand how much work went into putting on this amazing conference. And so that being said, again, I'm honored to help kick this off, the 2026 Culture of Care Summit. I'm the chair of the Culture of Care Council, but really I'm just a facilitator for all the great people who are part of this work. And I can say with great pride that this summit represents the collective dedication, passion, intentional work of so many individuals across our university. And then what you see today is not a result of a single effort, but a shared commitment to something much bigger than ourselves. So I want to really emphasize that the culture of care is not just an initiative at UAGC. It is who we are. It is how we show up for our students, our colleagues, and for our broader community. And it is reflected in small everyday actions in the larger systems that we continue to build together. So the summit, again, is a reflection of this commitment. So it is a space for us to pause, to reflect, to grow, both individually and collectively. And it is also a reminder that care requires intention, it requires consistency, and most importantly, it requires each of us. So when we lead with care and we show up with care, both intentionally and authentically, we just don't transform experiences, we transform lives. And so that being said, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this journey. And thank you for the role that you play here in advancing culture of care at UAGC. And I hope if you are a member of our community, I hope that you take the lessons learned and again, apply them to the work that you're doing. If you're joining us from another organization, I hope that you're able to take a small piece of all of these sessions and apply them in your workspace and think about how it really is important to apply care. Not only in the workplace, but at home. So that being said, thanks, Bill.
Yep, thank you. Very good, Michelle. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Farrell, and to all of our leaders for being here this morning. It's tough for them to find time too, but this really, truly is something that we're passionate about, not just for our organization, but what's happened in our organization. We want to share with other organizations and talk about how important it is really to intentionally apply care. And so with our little technical difficulty earlier, I did hear from Stephanie, they have that fixed. But what I'd like to do so that we can kind of end this session with that video is to remind everybody, I'll put the link back in the chat. Each time when you're changing sessions, you'll go back to our main website. Each session is listed in order of time starting on that site. And there's different Zoom links for each one. If you have any challenges with a Zoom link, be sure to email cultureofcaresummit@uagc.edu. I'll be sure to share that or help you out with that if you need it. So with that, thank you to the organizations that are here. Thank you to the colleagues that are here. Thank you to the many attenders outside of our organization willing to hear a message that we feel is important. And that's about caring for those you serve and caring for one another so you can be the best at that. And I can't finish this up without saying, so it doesn't get lost, what Dr. Farrell said is true. This takes so many people to do what we do at this summit. It's special. It lives because we live it. So thank you there's many people behind the scenes this morning, even with some things happening. There are so many people that won't even get a thank you for what they do. So please know I thank you. Bill thanks you. This team thanks you. It's been over 10 months of work and planning, and I just don't want it to be ignored. How wonderful it's been working with all of you. It really has. So with that, I'm going to give it over to Stephanie to play the video. And I hope you all enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions.
There's a real difference between doing a caring act and being a caring person.
It starts with communicating authentically and listening with the intent to understand. Care means respect, it means honest communication, and it also means allowing for people to be imperfect and make mistakes, because we can always learn and improve from our mistakes. At its core, it's about respect. When care is embedded in how we work, leaders are better equipped to make thoughtful, human-centered decisions.
In my own classroom, I strive to live these values every day, offering academic challenge and creating a space for learning that considers the full student experience.
For me, the power of care shows up in everyday moments. It's listening before responding, showing up consistently, and creating spaces where people feel seen, supported, and valued.
Care shows up in deliberate everyday actions, listening with intention, creating space for honest dialogue, and ensuring our decisions reflect empathy, integrity, and accountability. That's the culture we lead.
What we really strive for is to make every student successful and make every faculty and staff member feel valued. It really is about people and relationships, and that is a core value of University of Arizona Global Campus.
When care is embedded into how we communicate, collaborate, and lead, people feel safer taking risks, asking for help, and engaging.
Care to me is both a value and a vocation. It's about creating spaces where every voice matters, every person is appreciated, and every body knows they belong.
And the power of care is this: when people feel seen and supported, they persist, they grow, and they succeed. And that is the heart of the work we do here at UAGC.
As a UAGC leader, the culture of care is something that I'm very passionate about. It's a gentle and constant reminder to go into every interaction with curiosity, learning something new, picking up new perspectives, and being willing to work together.
Care guides how we communicate, educate, advocate, and collaborate as we lead ourselves and others, ensuring all are supported as whole human beings. This means recognizing that everyone brings rich experiences, complex lives, and remarkable strengths. It's also about recognizing that we are encordados, tied together like climbers on the same rope, where each one's steps, strengths, and struggles affect the entire team.
That's the heart of care. It's not doing, it's being. It's showing up. Care means creating environments where students and colleagues feel they belong. Because when people feel they belong, they're more likely to believe in themselves.
For me, care is not a soft concept. It's a powerful leadership practice. As an educator, as a leader, care means seeing the whole person. Care says, you belong here, you matter to us, and your success is important to us.
Care shows up in everyday moments. When we listen first, when we advocate for our students navigating life while pursuing their education, when we support our colleagues, and when we empower one another to do meaningful work.
To me, the power of care is showing up for others with intention, really seeing the whole person and responding with empathy and support.
This is where care gets loud, where compassion flexes its muscles, and where resilience stops being a buzzword and starts being a skill set.
Care is not optional. It is essential to meaningful learning and effective leadership. For me, care begins with listening, really listening to people's experiences, challenges, and goals. And it means seeing the whole person, not just the role that they occupy.
A culture of care doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional in absolutely everything that we do.
Culture of care, in my opinion, is very important because it formalizes this institution's emphasis on treating people right and doing right by one another.
Care is not finite or something that can be completed. It is sustained through intentional and deliberate effort.
For me, the power of care is simple but transformational. A culture of care does not happen by accident. It's built through daily choices, shared responsibility, and the courage to listen, the courage to learn, the courage to adjust. And it matters because when people feel they belong, when they trust that we are walking with them, persistence increases, confidence grows, and success becomes possible.
We're here to help you succeed. If you don't succeed, we don't succeed. So it's a synergistic effort. It actually helps us work on our relationships with you and with each other and to get a better understanding.
A culture of care also strengthens our relationships with colleagues, fostering trust, collaboration, and mutual support.
As an educator and leader, care is the foundation of what we do. With care, trust grows, belonging and strength also follow that mission.
Care means meeting students where they are, academically, emotionally, and personally, and ensuring they feel supported beyond the classroom. That same culture strengthens our colleagues by fostering collaboration, trust, and shared accountability. And it enhances leadership by grounding decision-making in student-centered values. A culture of care isn't optional. It's the foundation that allows us to create meaningful connections and transformative experiences.
Care really means asking those open-ended questions, listening intentionally, and then meeting students where they are, not with assumptions, but with curiosity and with empathy. A culture of care doesn't live in one role or one department. It's something that we can build together.
Care means students feel noticed and valued. It shows up in clear communication. It shows up in timely support.
When I think about care, I think of something very simple, but at the same time so incredibly powerful. I think about care in the fact that care happens when someone realizes they matter. And a culture of care is very much so rooted in this belief. Care is how we say, I see you, I hear you, and what you bring matters here. It helps to shape our leadership. Leaders who lead with care create environments where trust grows. Conversations can be more honest, decisions can be more clear and more human-driven. Care is really the connective tissue between our purpose and our performance. And at UAGC, our impact is multiplied when each of us chooses to lead with care.
Care is the value that builds and grows community. It ties everyone together with a shared responsibility for the good of the group. Care is also the glue that holds us together individually. Without self-care, our bodies and minds would collapse in a pile of burdensome stress. But most of all, care is the why behind the what. A culture of care is about making every stakeholder feel respected and safe to be the best version of themselves they could be.
When I think of care, I immediately think of shared responsibility that we have towards one another, sort of a social capital idea that we all rise and fall together. We are social creatures. We are social animals, and no individual can exist alone. You have to have some sort of support network, and that's a big part of care. So knowing that individuals are there for you to do well.
At universities, our ultimate makeup is a bunch of people. And we only function really well when we really care about each other, whether it's caring about colleagues or caring about those that we serve in our communities. That's what matters to me, and that's the reason I wake up every day to do this work.
To me, care is not just about being kind. Care is being present. It is noticing. It is taking a moment to listen, to understand, and to respond in a way that helps someone feel supported and seen.
This culture is modeled by leadership and embraced by faculty, staff, and students alike. It shapes how we engage with one another and guides every interaction across the university. Ultimately, our culture of care reminds us of the transformative power of compassion in education and of our shared responsibility to demonstrate care in meaningful ways for everyone we serve, both within UAGC and beyond.
On behalf of the University of Arizona Global Campus, we are so glad that you're here. And we hope that the next 3 days will offer great strategies, important insights, and renewed vigor for applying care in your cultures. Have a great summit.
And with that, we wish you well. Please go to the main website. We have different things starting in about 3 minutes. So enjoy the summit. Reach out if you need anything. Thank you all who came today.